Cannot scan contents. Not compatible.
Not compatible again? What does that even mean?
Blue, what do you mean? Who are you talking to?
It's the Scarab. The thing stuck to my spine that gives me the armor, the powers. It's an artificial intelligence created by Ted Cord. The Scarab advises me. Think Jiminy Cricket, with a really bad attitude.
Goddamn, mijo, like cabrón. It was Blue Beetle was not that bad, you know. Now I feel like I need to go and get in touch with my roots, you know. I mean, I am black, but I'm also mixed, you know. I'm also part of that. I got the Mexican in me too, you know. But yeah, you know, Blue Beetle was alright. It was definitely better than The Flash. It was definitely, honestly, in my opinion, better than both of the Shazam films. You know, I mean, maybe if this movie was made a couple years ago, maybe it would have been a lot better. Maybe if it came out around the time Young Justice was airing and people actually were, you know, at least younger kids and teens and young adults knew who Blue Beetle was because he was in those shows. Maybe it would have been it would have done a bit better, but for what it's worth, it was good. It felt like Ant-Man's first movie, you know. It felt like it could have been the DCEU's call to Spider-Man if it would have came out before or after, you know, Batman versus Superman. I mean, I don't know. And it's interesting that George Lopez, you know, he's in it as Jaime Reyes's uncle, Blue Beetle's uncle. It's kind of funny that he references Batman and Superman, so both of those characters are alive in that universe. So the fact that a Blue Beetle is running around causing havoc, I'm surprised that neither of these superheroes are raining down on this fool because they exist. They've established that they exist in this universe. So that I thought that was a little odd. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. So yeah, Blue Beetle stars Zolo Manduela. I forget how to say his name. Damn it, I am Mexican. I do have Mexican blood in me, I swear. But he plays Jaime Reyes, who is Blue Beetle. He gets chosen by the Scarab, which is this. I forget. I don't actually know that much about Blue Beetle, so I mean, it wasn't that bad. It could have been worse. I mean, he's practically an Iron Man, Green Lantern hybrid. Now, technically, I'm not really too keen on what the origins are of Blue Beetle because I'm not that much of a fan. But it is an alien Scarab that, you know, was traveled through time and space, that landed here, and it ends up being found and studied on by this guy Ted Korg. And Cord is actually the one that figures out all the mechanics and tries to figure out that it you know, finds out that it could be fused with humans and blah blah blah, this crazy tech shit. But they don't really discuss that, unfortunately, in the movie. It would have been a lot better instead of dealing with so much of Jaime's family drama. No offense, I mean, the family was whatever, and honestly, I was just waiting for Vin Diesel to come in at certain points and just be like, family, because that's all it was missing, is to all of a sudden have, you know, the Fast and Furious franchise join the MCU. I mean, I don't see why not at this point. I mean, I know that they're saying that if this movie doesn't succeed, then it's, you know, they don't want fucking Latino representation or some shit in the MCU, and it's just like, goddamn, like, I mean, I guess, but, you know, in Young Justice, you know, no one really cared that Jaime was a little Mexican kid, like, you know, I mean, no one cared that Billy Batson was like a white kid. I mean, you know, it'd be funny if they rebooted or try to redo Shazam and made him black. That shit'd be funny as fuck. I mean, I'm just saying. So he plays Jaime Reyes, and he gets fused with the Scarab, and in the film, it's just him being hunted down by the corporation that created the Scarab, led by Susan Sarandon, who I thought was such an interesting villain. I mean, I don't know which was weirder or much more cringier, her or there's a Blue Beetle running around and there's no Superman or Batman coming down to like wonder what the fuck's going on. Speaking of which, you know, back to the Blue Beetle itself, the way he gets the Scarab is such bullshit. He gets it by the character Jenny, played by Bruna Marquenzi, and like her character is just so overbearing. Like, man, the first scene with her with those suspenders and shit, when she's talking to Susan Sarandon and she's like, I'm gonna fucking stop you. It's like, okay, Miss Tomboy. And then the very next time you see her, she's like breaking into their lab like with ease and just no security, no nothing. And I love how she walks in with the lab coat and then she walks out with the lab coat off, like, and the security guards aren't like, hey, what the fuck are you doing in here? Like, none of the security is sent to watch this top secret fucking alien tech. Like, all right, whatever. And then, of course, you know, once the Scarab attaches itself to Jaime, which I thought was cool, the effects did look really cool. I mean, it's probably super painful, but the voicing of the Scarab was so whack. I mean, gosh, it was like a female Jarvis. I mean, it was just nonsense. I mean, at least in the animated Blue Beetle, it's his voice, but just distorted, you know, because he's slowly always trying to not lose control, and he's always not trying to let the Scarab take over him, because the Scarab will just fucking obliterate everything. Whereas in this one, the Scarab could obliterate everything, but then the minute he says he's like not a killer, and the suit starts reading him and bonding with him, the suit's like, all right, well, you know, we're not killers, you're not a killer, so I actually won't let you kill. I was like, that's some bullshit. They should have totally like had him kill to show that this suit means business, you know, and that he needed to really fight with it, and that at the end it would have been better if he was really fighting with himself to not kill the villain versus fighting, you know, the suit and be like, why won't you let me kill my family? He killed me, papa. He almost killed me, uncle. He almost killed me, tío. And it's just like, bruh, like, I mean, I guess you should have fucking killed the guy. He did. Okay, so anyway, so the movie pretty much culminates with Susan Sarandon, right? So her whole shtick is that she wants to get the Scarab to create this crazy sentient super soldier suit thing that they can wear that will be the Blue Beetle armor that, you know, they can fucking put into soldiers and make them into super soldiers. But they totally remind me of the military personnel from the Miles Morales Spider-Man game. So I was like, this is a little random, this is a little whack, but whatever. Very similar, but, you know, I'll let it go. But then the guy that she has test this machinery out, he's like this crazy cyborg guy that like lost his family and shit. And he actually kills the scientist that was helping develop all of this tech. And it's like, it turns out to be the guy from What We Do in the Shadows, the familiar, I forget his name, but damn it, so he kills him. So it's like, bro, he's killed people, and you're gonna like not kill him because, you know, the suit's like, I have a heart. It's like, get out of here, female driver. She should have been, when he first turns into the Blue Beetle and the liquefied, you know, fusion of the Scarab is going into his mouth, he sounds like the Young Justice Jaime for like 5 seconds, and it's awesome. But then the minute female Jarvis takes over, it's honestly kind of like, what the fuck? Like, whatever. So that was like kind of whack. Like, the fight scenes were cool, whatever, using like the, you know, non-lethal force and whatnot. But other than that, I really think that they should have made the Scarab way more evil, or like, you know, naturally violent to be able to do and mirror what it did in Young Justice. But other than that, I mean, I guess it was a good movie. You know, I guess it was definitely fun. Technically, the whole movie is the sister's fault, right? This whole film is the fucking sister's fault. She's the one that fucking took a shit in the beginning of the movie and ended up getting them all fired, and having Jaime end up overhearing the bullshit about what was going on in this random ass company that he didn't even know about and know existed, really. And then it's also the sister's fault that she fucking pulls the Scarab out of the little burger box when he gets it, starts throwing that shit around and playing patty cake with it with the family, and then it eventually somehow wakes it up. That eventually it subsequently wakes it up and then has it attached to Jaime Reyes. And it's her fault in the end for her father. I mean, I don't want to... Okay, light spoiler alert, but the shit that happens later, it is technically her fault for just standing behind and not getting the fuck out of there when they should have. Like, you know, just saying. It's all kind of the sister's fault. You know, the Nana was all right. She was fucking machine gun wielding revolutionary, all random, whatever. I mean, guys, I don't really care about the family anymore. But I would have found it really funny if she wasn't really an abuelita, if she was actually like some young lady wearing a lot of prosthetics to make herself look like the old lady, like, or an old nana. That would be actually pretty genius. But she is in fact an older woman. Her name is Adriana Barraza, and she plays Nana. So I mean, congratulations to her for just getting a nice little role in the DCEU. They should have just had more flashbacks of like Ted Korg and the other Blue Beetles and just stuff that led up to the events of his death, or like his supposed death, because you find out at the end that he's actually not dead. So, you know, there's just so much that they could have done, but they just should have done it sooner, you know, because I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. Like I said, it wasn't as gnarly as I thought it was going to be, in terms of like, you know, overbearing fucking side characters that have nothing to do with the story. The family was a little much. You know, like I said, it's better than a lot of the other stuff that we've got. I won't really spoil, I guess, too much, because, you know, it's a fun film. Bring your kids, take the kids to watch it. But yeah, so Blue Beetle, check it out. We'll see how the DC goes on after this. This is their phase 1, so we'll see how it fucking goes. But this has been Ghost on the Craig. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the flip side. Peace, cabrones. Orale. Pinche, well.